internet of Marty Smith becoming our phenomenal ESPN reporter, Marty McGee on ESPN Radio. Like going from, what is he, in his 40s, let's say? 40s to like 95 years old overnight, and people doing the Photoshops of it because he's waiting there for Lane Kiffin's decision. And Lane Kiffin made the decision to leave Ole Miss, go to LSU. Ole Miss decides to not let him coach in the college football playoff. Let's start there. There's a lot to get to. We have a lot of sound. Marty had a one-on-one with Lane, which we'll get to in a second. Should Ole Miss have let him coach in the playoffs?
My heart says yes, because I want those kids to have the best opportunity that they have earned to compete at the highest level. But my head says absolutely not. If he is jumping ship for another school and another school is paying him, why would either party allow that to happen from a business standpoint? If you're LSU, why would you let him in any way, shape, or form still influence what's happening in Ole Miss? And if you're Ole Miss, why do you want somebody who doesn't want to be there stewarding your program one more second longer than it needs to be?
Yeah, it's a conflict of interest. Keith Carter, the athletic director for Ole Miss, absolutely made the right call. You're not going to let Lane Kiffin coach the postseason. That's stupid. He's clearly going to have an agenda other than prioritizing, doing everything that he can to put those kids at Ole Miss in position to win a championship. He might be trying to put those kids at Ole Miss in position to hit the portal and come to LSU.
Right.
And, oh, by the way, I'm going to poach most of the key staff members on the squad, too, while I'm still technically shepherding this program. No. You made the right call. There's no world that exists where Lane Kiffin should have been allowed to coach the postseason for Ole Miss. Let's stop trying to frame this as something other than what it is. Lane Kiffin is better dealing Ole Miss for LSU. If he wanted to do right by those kids, then he would forego that situation and focus on trying to win a national championship. But instead, he wants to go with where his heart is leading him, a.k.a. where his wallet is leading him, which is LSU. It's amazing how that works, by the way, isn't it? Oh, I was led by my heart. Yeah, it's interesting that your heart is in the place where the most money is. I'm just going to put that out there. But I just think it's crazy that we want to frame Lane Kiffin as the victim in this circumstance where he is the one that is making a personal choice.
That's right.
That's on him. That's not on athletic director Keith Carter, and it's not on college football as a whole. Yeah, we know college football has got some flaws. We know it's an imperfect system. But this is Lane Kiffin doing what Lane Kiffin has always done.
Absolutely right. And I fell hook, line, and sinker. I'll be the first to admit it. I watched the phenomenal E60, available on the ESPN app right now. I strongly urge you watch it. Done by Ryan McGee. And I saw the different version of Lane Kiffin. The one that felt healthier. The one that felt like he had a different mindset in terms of his life, his family, and his profession. I'm not going to say he's not healthy or unhealthy or doesn't have the same mindset. I just thought I was looking at a different guy than I've looked at for the last 20 years. And the reality is, it's okay that he's the same guy, but he's the same guy. And the idea that he is referencing his dad, may he rest in peace, the great Monty Kiffin, and how he had multiple stops. Yeah, Monty Kiffin had multiple stops because he wasn't a head coach the entire time. He wasn't in control of his destiny because he was an assistant coach on someone else's staff. So if Chris Canty gets fired, and not to go third person, Evan Cohen is his assistant, I'm getting fired too. It's not up to me at that point. So I may go with Chris to the next stop and the next stop. Monty Kiffin was awesome what he did. But to me, Monty has nothing to do with this. You didn't go to LSU because Monty had multiple stops. And I just don't want to hear I want to influence as many people as possible. Just stop. Just stop. You wanted to go to LSU. LSU's a better job than Ole Miss. Just say it. Just say it. Ole Miss got me to a place where I now can get the LSU job, which is a dream job, a destination job. Just be honest about it.
But he doesn't want to diss Ole Miss. He doesn't want to.
He left them high and dry. He already did, Smalls.
Of course. But in that moment, he is probably feeling a confluence of emotions. I'm sure he's very bummed out that he can't see this through with his kids. But guess what? In life, when you make choices, there are consequences. And one of the consequences of your choice to follow the bag and follow what you think is a better path to win a national championship is foregoing your opportunity to try to do it right now. And it's a shame for those kids. I really feel bad for those student athletes at Ole Miss. They are the ones that are getting the worst of the residue of this, honestly. But he also probably had a lot of emotions emotions leading up to this decision and doesn't want to diss Ole Miss or denigrate them in any way and make it seem like he's not appreciative of that job or that it's not a good job, because it is a good job. He turned it into an even better job. But at the end of the day, we know that there are levels to this. Even though we talk about this new landscape in college football, we talk about the Kurt Signettis of the world being able to go wherever, as long as you know how to work this system, you'll be able to win at the highest level. There is still certain jobs that people are going to hold in higher regard because they think of the legacy, they think of the resources, and it gives them more clout and what they perceive to be a higher opportunity to win. And that's that.
And that is what
Maybe.
Yeah.
And you just said something just now, and I thought it was fascinating. Lane Kiffin going someplace where he thinks he has a better chance to win a national championship. The last coach at LSU said the same damn thing.
Yeah.
Didn't work out that way for him.
It did not.
And oh, by
It's
the
not a
way, the
guarantee.
place that he left was just in the national championship game, and they lost to the champions, Ohio State. That literally just happened.
With the chance to maybe get
So
back
I'm
to
just
this
sitting there looking at this hire for Scott Strickland, the Board of Regents down there at LSU. There's a lot of pressure around this situation, and it's not just on Lane Kiffin's side.
Oh, yeah.
LSU better make this thing work. Because if they don't, if Lane Kiffin doesn't get any closer to the championship rounds than he would have at Ole Miss, and what that team does in these playoffs this year, then all of a sudden we're going to look at LSU and relegate them to a second-tier college football program. Because this is the place that seems like it should be the job that allows you to get closer to a national championship, but ultimately it doesn't.
You know why I don't think LSU is going to end up working out and winning a national championship and things are going to be clean? Because Lane Kiffin's there. That's why I don't think it's going to work out. Because no matter where he goes, it ends in a mess. He's not.
No matter where he goes, there he is.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same guy over and over and over again. This is no different than any of the other situations that he has ever done. The only time he ever actually works out and is clean in the exit is if he stays a year longer than we thought he would.
But how many coaches in this same position would have chosen otherwise, would have stayed at Ole Miss? How many coaches in this position, when they have worked their entire life, have been maligned, have gone through the ups and downs, and now you have all these programs fawning over you, upping their offers, chasing you? How many coaches would choose to stay?
Let me ask you a question. Off of that question. I'm not answering it, but I'll answer it. Somebody that is homeless. Okay? And we have a big fan of Madison that's homeless, so shout out to that person, because randomly somebody stopped me in the street that does not have a home and says he watches us on TV.
He goes, "You're on TV."
Yeah, which I was a little confused by. Anyway, but if you're homeless and you finally have a home, you've worked your way up, you have this home, you've lived in this home for a decade. Are you looking for new homes every 2 minutes when you don't have a home?
Let me ask you a question. How many
questions in a row we're going to go
How
here?
many people get the home and they want to upgrade to a bigger one?
I don't know the answer to that.
It's human nature. We get something, we get content with it, we want more.
So then just say it.
But I am more upset
say
with the
it.
construct of college football for allowing this to happen in the manner in which it did and the timeline in which it played out than I am Lane Kiffin, because this is college football. I know Lane has the history, and I know everyone's going to point to him and make it personal with him. But we see this all the time with coaches at various programs. They jump ship for what they perceive to be a better opportunity.
But he didn't have to go, Smalls. Nobody put a gun to Lane Kiffin's head. He didn't have to leave Ole Miss to go to LSU. He didn't have to forego the opportunity to coach Ole Miss in the college football playoff.
But we see coaches do this all the time.
We do, but I don't think we should absolve them of blame just because of the construct of college football and the timelines make it tough to stay in your current role. No, listen, man, this is a decision that Lane Kiffin made. Period. If he wanted to stay there and coach those kids, if he felt so bad about it, he's got such a bleeding heart for him, then he wouldn't have left to go to LSU. But he said, you know what? The hell with them kids.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I put myself and my family in the best position, and I deem that to be LSU, which is his prerogative. That's his choice.
Yep.
I'm not saying that he has to be vilified for doing that. What I'm saying is we can't frame it up as Lane Kiffin being the victim in this circumstances. The victim are those kids that he left behind.
No doubt.
It's them.
He's not the victim at all.
Yeah, so
he's the only one painting himself as the victim.
I think two things can be true. I can be mad at college football, but I can also be mad at Lane Kiffin for what he's doing to those boys that propped him up so he can get a new contract, paying him $90 million.
All right, there's